I just spent $150 on a foundation. That is crazy. Even though I do have other foundations that are around that price range, I've never paid full price for them. I've always found them on sale or discounts or codes, or I found a way to get it cheaper. But this one, for you guys, I took one for the team, and this is the new Tom Ford Architecture Soft Matte Blurring Foundation. Now, I've been testing this out for maybe 3 days because it's so expensive. I really wanted to test it out and not make a first impression and give you my complete thoughts on this product. So that's what we're doing today. We are going to do a full day wear test. I'm going to take you in different lighting throughout the house, outside. That way you can see all my pores and everything. And I hope you guys will enjoy it and it will be helpful. So let's get started. I am not sure what's happening with Tom Ford foundations. I have here the Shade and Illuminate. I love it so much that I have it in 2 different colors. And this is $150 as well. They also have their Traceless Soft Matte Foundation and a stick. I love this stick. And I did enjoy the soft matte. This is $90. However, I think it's being discontinued because I see it 50% off and there's only a few shades to pick from. So I don't know for sure if this is being discontinued and it's being replaced by the new one. But I think just from observing that that's kind of what they're trying to do. So the new packaging is actually incredibly beautiful. Here we have the Shade and Illuminate, that it's also $150, and then the Architect Soft Blurring Foundation. And a lot of people love the Shade and Illuminate packaging. I absolutely love it too, but I have to say, I think the new packaging feels a little bit more modern, a little bit more luxurious. You have this frosted glass. The pump is gold, so I kind of like this packaging a little bit more, but they're both absolutely stunning. So 10 out of 10 for packaging. Compared to the Traceless Soft Matte, now this one is plastic packaging and you twist the cap and that's how you get it out. I like this packaging as well. Definitely doesn't feel as luxurious as the other ones. Now for claims, this, you know what, I'm going to pull up the claims because I didn't find a ton of information about it. Nordstrom had some information, but on the Tom Ford website, I didn't see much about this. This is supposed to be a long wear foundation that perfects the skin, and it is very blurring. Soft focus microsphere powders diffuse light and help control shine. It also has hyaluronic acid and powerful antioxidants, nourishing and protecting the skin. It is humid resistant, fade resistant, all the good stuff. Reading about it, it didn't really tell me if it was light coverage, medium coverage, full coverage, but from the description, I just assumed it was like a medium full coverage because it's perfecting, right? So let me show you how the consistency is. See how it is very thin and runny? It does remind me a little bit of the original, which I am gonna apply right here. It has the same kind of thinner consistency. I would say it's thinner than the original Traceless Matte. If anything, it's more like the Shade and Illuminate, which why not? Let's just add a little dot right here. So that's Shade and Illuminate, and I guess it's not very runny. Let me put a bigger dot there. See if that helps. There you go. Now it's runny. But you can kind of see that this one is extremely thin, almost like a serum. So I'm going to kind of feel all of them. Yeah, so the Traceless Matte is a little bit thicker than the new one. And then the Shade and Illuminate, I'm going to feel it here. Yeah, out of all of these, the new one seems to be the thinnest on the skin. Most, dare I say, serum-like? No, watery-like. It feels a little bit watery and just thinner. I got the shade 4.0. Now, the one thing with Tom Ford is I cannot find my perfect shade. I have tried so many. If you are around my shade range and you found your perfect Tom Ford foundation color, please let me know, because spending so much money and not having a perfect shade is really awful. It like hurts my soul. Let's use my BK Beauty 101 and blend this in. So I've done my skincare maybe 30 minutes ago, and I am going to put a primer on this side, a pore minimizing primer, but I wanted to do side by side just to show you how it looks and how it wears with a primer and without, because at this price range, you should not have to wear a primer. As you guys have seen, it is so incredibly easy to blend. I mean, I feel like I am doing minimal work. I even used my fingers one day and literally just blended it in. It was so easy. Because it's so thin and spreadable, I think that makes it very easy to use a brush, fingers, even a beauty blender or sponge. Okay, so you guys can see the color is just a little bit too yellow and maybe just a little bit too deep, which I understand. In the summertime I get pretty tan just because I'm outside a lot. We go to the pool. So I think in the summertime the depth will be good. But the undertone, it's still, I think, just a little bit too olivey or yellow. But for the life of me, I have tried so many different shades and I cannot find one. So this right here is less than half a pump because I didn't do a full pump. And I think it blended in so nicely. It becomes kind of like your skin, which is why I have loved this one so much. Even when I first tested it out with my finger, when I first bought it, I went to Andrew, which is my husband, and asked, okay, what do you think of my skin? And he didn't even see that I had foundation on. He just said it looks very smooth. So that is a great thing. That's exactly what we want. We don't want to look like we have foundation on. We just want to look perfect. Chick everybody. The other thing that I really like about this, and that is a little bit different, is that it's so thin, yet it has a good coverage. It's medium coverage, but you can build it up to medium full. And right now, again, like I mentioned, it is just medium coverage. This is how I like to wear it. I don't like building it up too much, but for you guys, I will build it up a little bit on the cheek. Yeah, I think the biggest benefit of this foundation right now is just how natural it looks and how smooth. Around the pores, I think it looks really good. My biggest issue with my skin, I would say, is enlarged pores. I feel like a lot of foundations can get in there. I have normal to dry skin. The finish is supposed to be a soft matte blurring finish, and I see kind of the blurring effect. And the soft matte, to me, that means that the foundation dries down and it's not necessarily glowy, but the finish is more natural, which is what I see here. One of the biggest difference between the original and this one is that the original, I had a little bit of an issue with it not completely setting down or feeling like it's almost wet even after it set down. So if I were to drink a cup of water and a little bit would spill, you could literally see the line of where it spilled. So that it was the only reason that I didn't wear this foundation more than I did, because the finish was beautiful, the coverage was amazing, but that one thing made me feel a little self-conscious wearing it, although beautiful. And honestly, I haven't heard anybody complain about that, like a little bit of transfer. But that was my experience with it. This, no, this is completely dry. It will not transfer at all. It's really transfer proof. But it gives the same very soft focus, blurring effect to the skin. On this side, I am going to use a primer. Ooh, let me take my Tom Ford primer. This bad boy right here. This is a Traceless Soft Matte Primer. And it is my all-time favorite primer. I am kind of low on this, and I haven't seen it in stock most places, and I am kind of freaking out. What if they discontinue it? You know what? The Sephora sale is happening now. I need to see if Sephora has it, because it is my all-time favorite blurring primer, an arm and a leg for sure, but one that nothing touches it. It's so beautiful. Also, I have bruises here. I have bruises on my lips. I was sparring with Andrew the other day and I forgot to put my mouth guard in, and I just bit on my lower lip. Honestly, I'm surprised it's not worse. I'm surprised that it's not swollen and all bruised. Let's do this side again, half a pump. And I'm gonna dot it here. I was gonna use a beauty blender, but I don't think I have a clean one or a wet one around here. So we're just gonna go with the brush, but I've tried it with a beauty blender and it works well. This is why I like doing foundation reviews, mostly when it's so expensive, just not first impressions, because I think there's so many things that can happen, or if your skincare interferes with your foundation, longevity. I just feel like it's a better overall review if I test it out before, and once I have a good thought, an idea if I like this foundation or not, to do the review. Mostly when you're paying so much money for the foundation. A thing that I've noticed with this foundation is that once it's set down, you cannot move it. So let's say you didn't blend this section here well, you can't go back and try to blend it because it completely sets down. So make sure that, you know, you blend it in while it's wet, because after that, good luck. I'm just gonna add a little bit more on my chin, try to cover. Ooh, that did pretty well, right? Those bruises, I feel like that did well. A little bit on my nose as well. I don't like putting a lot of foundation above my top lip because I think that that can make it look a little bit cakey. Just in general, we sweat a lot on our upper lip, so I try to keep it a little bit thinner there. Here is how the foundation looks like with just a thin layer. I didn't build it up yet. I may just build it up a little bit here just for you guys to see, but from testing it out, it definitely can be built up. This is the side with a primer right here, and the side that doesn't have one. Let me check if I see a difference. Maybe the slightest bit. My pores are a little bit smoother here, but it's almost insignificant. And from wearing it the past few days, at the end of the day, I didn't really see a difference. I didn't think that one side lasted better than the other. So yeah, I don't think a primer is necessary. I think it looks really pretty over the primers. So let's just build up a little bit on the cheek area. Taking a different brush. This is the number 7 from It Cosmetics. I'm gonna stamp it here just to see if I can build this up. I'm gonna put a little bit of concealer for under the eyes only, but I kind of wanna see how it acts under the eyes a little bit. And that definitely covered pretty well. I feel like you can get pretty much full coverage out of this one if you build it up. A thing that I want to mention is that with this foundation, because it's so wet initially, you have to let it completely dry and then pick your color. So if you're in store and you swatch it and you're like, oh, that's the perfect shade, wait a few minutes till it's completely dry, because it will get darker the more it dries down. That doesn't mean it oxidizes, it just is getting set. Here we have the foundation build up a little bit on the cheeks. Honestly, this is more coverage than I usually wear. I like a medium coverage, sometimes light coverage. And I think it's beautiful. I like that it's not completely matte and sucking the life out of my skin. Okay, let me go finish up my makeup and I'll show you how it looks with everything on. I am back and it has been a few hours. I've gone to the doctor with my daughter and I've been running around and didn't have a chance to kind of show you the finished makeup, but here it is. I try to keep it minimal on the skin. The bronzer that I have is the Simi Haze one, and then the blush is the Haus Labs blush. I used my Natasha Denona concealer and powdered that only here. And then the rest, it's just the foundation. Obviously, I have some mascara and something on the eyes. But the skin overall, I try to keep it as clean as possible so we can really see the foundation. Now, I want you guys, let's zoom you in. The foundation to me looks pretty full coverage right now. It has covered pretty much everything that I needed covered. Maybe if you have a ton of rosacea or big issues, you may have to correct under it, but on me, it covered pretty much everything. I want to show you kind of the finish. I have not added any glow to my skin, any highlighter. The blush that I used is matte, and I feel like you can definitely see some radiance with this foundation. And I wanted to really mention that because when you hear soft matte, you think that it's gonna be maybe not glowy at all, but I feel like I see a little bit of kind of that natural radiance coming through. Not oily. This is not oily at all. On the skin, it's completely set. I feel like I could rub my face and it wouldn't come off. And that really helps with longevity as well. But I just want you to notice kind of the finish, that I feel like the finish is a little bit more radiant than I expected. That's not a bad thing for me, but it's worth mentioning. I'll also show you in natural light where you can see a little bit better. I think the finish of the foundation, it's quite beautiful. It almost looks expensive. You know, if I see somebody having this kind of finish, I'm like, wow, like, you look like you have money. I don't know if that correlates with any of you, but that's kind of how I feel. Like, I've done celebrity makeup as well, and every time I would put a foundation of them, because their skin looks so good and they get all these treatments done and lasers, and it just looks flawless and poreless. When I saw this finish on my skin, I'm like, oh, I look expensive. Now, I am not somebody who loves full coverage, so this is a bit much for me. I prefer a medium coverage, light to medium even, but I will say that on the skin, it dries down more than the Prada foundation, but somehow it reminds me of that one. Let me kind of swatch the Prada and see. A Prada is not as thin. It's almost more creamy and thicker. But once it's on the skin, it kind of reminds me of the finish of the Prada with just more coverage. That is a good thing because I absolutely love the Prada foundation. However, it is half the price. So just saying. Right now, I think the foundation looks so beautiful. Is it worth $150? I'm just gonna go ahead and say it right now. No, it is not. It is very expensive, but I will say that I really enjoy the finish and how it applies, and you'll see that it lasts pretty long throughout the day. There's a couple of things that I don't love, but at the same time love. The fact that it dries down quite quickly, so once you put it on, you don't have a ton of time to sit there and blend. It will blend real quick, but do one side at a time because the foundation will dry down and it is not movable. You cannot manipulate it after, which is, again, a positive because it's gonna last longer, but it can also be a negative if you take your time too long. Also, I feel the need to moisturize under this foundation since it does dry down so much. I want to have a nice base, not glowy, but moisturized because the foundation has already a beautiful finish that I don't want more radiance. Those are my thoughts right now. I will do some checking in natural light, and so I'll see you in a little bit. First checking in natural light, and it's been maybe an hour since I finished the video, but it's been at least 3 hours since I initially put the foundation on, and this is how you're looking like. Let's zoom you in because I want to show you the glow that you get with this foundation. So here is the foundation. This is 4K. You should be able to see all my pores and all the juicy stuff here. And you can see that throughout, there's almost like this filtery luminosity on my skin, which I personally love, but I know it could be something negative if you need a foundation that is completely matte. But I think it looks really beautiful for it to have such good coverage. I think it looks really pretty. It doesn't feel like anything. And even though it has that luminosity, it doesn't feel or look oily at all. It just looks very smooth. That's kind of what I get when I look in the mirror in natural light. So I personally really like it. I think it is a beautiful finish. It definitely reminds me of a Tom Ford foundation. I feel like they have that beautiful finish even to more of their matte foundations. But yeah, so far so good. Nothing has really changed. Everything still looks good. And that's it. I'll see you in a little bit. It has been, I want to say 9-10 hours since I applied the foundation. The sun is slowly starting to go down, so I wanted to get another check-in real quick. But this is how the foundation looks like. I swear nothing has moved. It looks pretty much the same. There's some sun here, so you can kind of see. Let's zoom you in. Here it is in sunlight pretty much. And I think it looks beautiful, guys. Nothing has moved. I've been out and about all day. I've recorded 2 videos and I've just been doing a lot, and I feel like everything still looks the same. My daughter's in the background. She's a little sick, so she's coughing. But that's it for now. I don't think I'm gonna wear this much longer because I have training and I need to take everything off. But I'm gonna give you a final thoughts and check-ins in the studio, and that's about it. Maybe in like 2 hours. That's it for now. I am ready to take this makeup off, not because it looks bad, just because I have to go. I'm kind of in a hurry. I have training today, and so I wanted to do a last check-in. I want to say it's been a total of 10-11 hours of wear, if I think about, yeah, about that much. But honestly, nothing has really changed except the foundation got a little bit more luminous. Let's zoom you in. So here is how everything is looking like. The only thing that I've touched up was the blush. I've touched that up for a different video. And the lips, of course. I've added and wiped other stuff. I've just been playing with lip products. But besides that, I haven't touched the foundation. I haven't powdered. I haven't done anything. And it's been a absolutely crazy day. Just go, go, go all day. So I am so impressed with this. Let me take my mirror and look up close. Yeah, I don't feel like much has changed. The only thing that I want to mention and make you guys aware of is that this is not a like matte foundation. To me, it's actually quite luminous, and it did get more luminous throughout the day. Not oily. It never got to the point where it was oily, but again, I don't have oily skin. So if you're more on the oilier side, I don't know if this is going to keep you matte throughout the day. I really do like the coverage that it gave me. It's a little bit much for me day to day, but usually I can get a medium coverage out of this. I love the finish overall. I think the longevity is a huge factor for this foundation. It sets down. You don't need to set it, mostly if you have more normal to dry skin. I do wonder if you were to set it, if it would look better throughout the day, mostly if you have more oilier skin. Let me take a little bit of my Huda powder just to kind of see how it looks like. I think the way I would personally like to wear this is just powder the T-zone kind of around here and then leave the rest. I don't think it's super glowy, okay? I don't think it is like the Shade and Illuminate glowy, but it is not completely matte, and so that could be a great thing for most of us, I would say. So let me tell you my final thoughts on this foundation. I cannot deny that this is a beautiful foundation. It has that luxurious Tom Ford finish. First of all, it has a scent. Just like all the other Tom Ford scents, it's in the here as well. So if you're sensitive to that, that's a huge no-no. The packaging is absolutely luxurious. I love it so much. Probably my favorite packaging that Tom Ford has made. The wear is on point. I mean, very rarely do I have a foundation that looks this good at the end of the day after a very long day. This wasn't just kind of a sit and hang out kind of day. It's been running around, record after record after record. When I'm in front of lights, you know, your makeup tends to break up a little bit faster. I do think this is a beautiful foundation. Is it worth it? No, guys, no. If you are saving money for a foundation, don't spend $150. You know, there is Prada that is $70. There are other ones that are in the $30, $40 range. The Haus Labs, this one is more luminous, never mind. But there are other ones that are a little bit a softer matte. Ooh, the Hourglass. This one is an incredible foundation. You do not need to spend $150 plus tax to get a beautiful foundation. So those are my thoughts on it. Do I like it? Yes, I'm gonna keep it. I'm gonna love it and enjoy it. But if it was not for this review, I would not have picked this up. So just being fully honest, I wouldn't spend $150, $60 just to have it. It's strictly to review it for you guys because it seemed like a lot of you were interested and there were no reviews out there. And yeah, that is it, my friends. I hope you guys have a good one and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.